right, what we got? OJ, purple stuff. I think we need to go to the store. Hey folks.
Hello.
How you doing? We're back. Well, today we're going to address some of the questions we get about cost of living. So some of that has to do with grocery shopping and healthcare. To start with, we're going to talk about, well, what do you do if you don't necessarily want to go to the Mercados and then go to a grocery store? You're not feeling all that, this particular day it might be hot or whatever. You don't feel like doing all that driving around or riding around. And you're like, okay, let's just do one-stop shop. Let's go to a supermarket. Because whether you know it or not, here in Ecuador, there are plenty of supermarkets. There are smaller stores, there are tiendas, there are mercados, and then there are supermarkets. Our first example that we're going to give is the time we went to the grocery store to do a lot of shopping because we were gone for 2 months. Before we left, we purposely just kind of gotten rid of anything that could go bad and ate everything that could be eaten, threw away what needed to be thrown away. So when we came back, we were pretty light on
Everything.
edible
Everything.
things, and even paper products.
Yes.
So we had to pretty much replenish everything in our kitchen. Don't be shocked when we tell you how much we spent this particular day when we came back, because this is absolutely not typical.
So typically we get our meats from the supermarket. We heard there's a butcher here, but I think it's in La Libertad. We haven't been there. We don't know the cost of the meats that you would get from the butcher. But if you're going to get your meats from the supermarket, just know it can the price will vary depending on what type of meat you're going to get. If you're looking at steaks, if you're looking at meats for beef stew or stir fry, can be a little higher than your normal prices that I guess if you get from a butcher, but it's definitely less than what you would spend in the U.S. Yeah. If you're going to buy produce out of the supermarket, they're going to be a little higher than what you would get at the Mercado because it's by kilogram. Is that correct?
Yes,
like the weight
in the supermarket, yes.
In the supermarket, so it's by weight. Sometimes I don't feel like going to the Mercado, and at this particular time, we were coming back. I just wanted to do a one-stop shop.
We didn't feel like doing anything.
Get everything from the supermarket. So I got a lot of things like oranges, bananas, strawberries, limes, and we got pretty much everything. I got my vegetables from there as well. Corn, carrots, tomatoes, all of that.
Yeah.
And so you're going to spend, I guess, a little bit more than what you would spend at the Mercado.
You want to talk about some of our meat selections?
Yeah. So if you want a tender cut of meat, you would get the lomo fino. It's similar to filet mignon. It's one of the most expensive meats that we buy, that we've seen in the store as well. It can range anywhere between $25 to $30. It's a nice cut. You can cut it up. You can freeze some of it and cook some of it, however you want to prepare it. We also bought Castillo. It's like pork rib.
Yeah.
That can range anywhere from $7 to $10, depending on the weight of it and how much you get.
A full rack.
Yeah, full rack. And if you decide you want, now there's 2 different types. Let me just go back and say there's 2 different types of Castillo pork ribs. If you want, what is it called? The small ones, like the
baby backs.
Baby backs. The baby backs range anywhere from, I would say $13 to $20. Short ribs you can get, and they range anywhere from $3, sometimes to $7, depending on how meaty it is as well. So just the meat varies here in price, but it's definitely nowhere near as expensive as it is in the States.
Now, real quick, I want to speak on the difference we've talked about the difference in steak. So, they don't use the same, like hormones and GMOs and
Yes.
all that stuff here. So the beef isn't all like fat and
No.
juicy like it is in the States. That being said, the reason that Lomo Fino is
More expensive.
good is because it's the tender part of a cow. It's the filet mignon part of the cow. So it's always tender. But when it comes to pork, it's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same as the States. It's really no different.
No.
So if you get a set of ribs here, you're dealing with the same kind of ribs you get in the States. So I just want to put that out there. The beef is different. The pork really isn't.
Now, well, the cut can be.
The cut is different, yes.
Yeah, the cut can be different.
But the meat itself, no.
So let's say, for instance, he loves the green apples.
Yeah.
Green apples are still more expensive than the regular red apples.
Yes.
And, they're considered granny apples. Now, I would say I like the green apples here better than the ones I like in the States.
Yeah.
Because they're not as tart.
Yeah.
There is a little tartness there, but it's also sweet.
Yeah, I will agree because she knows I love Granny Smith apples because I love eating them with peanut butter, and I like things that are tart. But
and I don't.
The green apples here, they have that tartness, but they're sweeter for whatever reason. I don't even know where they actually source them from, but they are sweeter.
Yeah, they're not sweet.
Yeah.
The tartness there, it balances with the sweetness compared to the granny apples in the States. Let's talk about if you get strawberries from the supermarket, you're gonna pay a little bit more than what you would pay at the Mercado. Because at the Mercado, you can get a bag of strawberries, maybe let's say 20, 25, just a random number, for $1. At the supermarket, you may not get that many, and of course you're paying by weight.
And it could be smaller.
They can be smaller, they can be greener. But everything pretty much in the supermarket, you pay by weight. When it comes to produce, fruit, I'm gonna say fruit, because like the strawberries, sometimes you can get them in a little container, and a small container, like it's the ones that the raspberry comes in the States.
The clamshell one,
yes.
yeah.
They're thin, so you may spend $1 on strawberries in that size. If you get a size that you would get blueberries in, a container like you get blueberries, you may spend $2 or $1.50. But it's not that many strawberries.
Yeah.
Avocados. Avocados are sold in the little cardboard box. They're like $2 and something. If you buy them separately by weight, you may get them a little less. But if you go to the Mercado, you more than likely get about 8 avocados for $1.
Yeah.
So you just have to, it just varies where you want to go to get your fruit and your vegetables, because I like buying majority of my vegetables from the supermarket.
Right.
Because when I go to the Mercado, I don't see the Swiss chard, I don't see zucchini, squash, those things.
Yeah. They do have a large selection, but there are certain things that you want that may not be at the Mercado.
Or I just haven't found it.
Right.
Most of the times when I go to the Mercado, I can get tomatoes, onions, the hominy corn, carrots, those things, and cabbage, but not some of the, what do you want to call it? I don't want to call them specialty vegetables, but like the zucchini, the squash, the chard, spinach, those things I get from the supermercado. They're not that expensive. You normally would pay about, let's say, $1, $1.50 for chard. Lettuce range from 50 cents up, depending on what type of lettuce you want. Spinach range from $1 to $1.50, depending on the brand. Cabbage, you can get it cut in you can get a whole cabbage. Most likely, I think you get the whole cabbage, or you can get a half a cabbage at the supermarket. A little bit more, but if you go to the Mercado, You can get them to cut it in quarters, half, or get the whole thing, but they are much bigger.
Yeah.
When I say they look like they could be about a 2-pound cabbage head,
Yeah.
it's pretty big.
Oh, something that we forgot to mention is that, LaShawn was mentioning that you buy by weight, by the kilo in the grocery store. One oddity, I haven't really figured this out, is that in the grocery store, everything is weighed by kilo. But at the Mercado, everything's by the pound. So when we go to the Mercado, it's, $1 per libre, which is 1 pound. And that's pretty much everything, whether you're buying fish, meat, vegetables, fruit. They always charge you by the pound, not the kilo. But when the grocery store, everything's not by the pound, it's by the kilo.
Yeah.
So I haven't figured that out yet, but yeah, that's one of those things that if you come here and you go to a Mercado, there's a pretty good chance you see something, you're thinking that you might be buying it by the kilo, like $1 for a kilo, which is 2.2 pounds. Mm-hmm. No, typically it's going to be per pound.
Yeah.
So you just have to remember that.
Now, like we were saying, we were coming back from our trip and we needed to purchase a lot of items. So we also needed to buy paper products. Let's just talk about paper items, toilet tissue, paper towels. Now, let me just express, paper towels here vary.
Hit and miss. Dice roll.
You definitely have to read the package to see if you're getting 1 ply, 2 ply, or 3 ply.
Right, and even if it is 2 ply, it still might be trash.
Yeah. When you go, I don't know, like for instance, back in the day you got Scott toilet tissue, it's 1 ply. Yeah. That means you had to roll a lot.
It's army toilet tissue.
Compared to Charmin, which was 2 ply, soft and pliable. Yeah, paper towels, hit and miss. They do have Scott absorbent. They have Scott tissue, Scott paper towels. More expensive because it's an imported product.
And we don't usually buy the more expensive version. We've basically experimented and tried different brands to see which ones are the best. The problem is we don't always go to the same store.
No.
And we'll go to one store one time, get a good set of paper towels, and then when we go shopping and we go to a different supermarket, and then we forget
the brand.
We forget the brand, and we're like, "Was it this one? Was it this one?" So I think it was this one. We get home, it definitely wasn't it.
And then if you get the brand that you saw at this store, they have that brand there, but it is not the same.
It might not be the same, so it may be the same brand, but not like the same actual paper towel.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's probably on us. Honestly. That's probably just on us. That's just a goofy mistake. We need to just take a picture next time.
Yeah.
We've done this so many times where I don't think we've ever gotten the same good set of paper towels back to back.
Well, let me just say this. I'm at the point where I don't really care because you throw them in the trash anyway.
Yeah.
As long as they dry up the spill, dry my hands, whatever.
I think maybe it's the feel, like when you're taking it off the roll, because you can just pull it and you just tear it right at the perforation. But like the bad ones, they tear right where your hand is. There's and you just got like a piece of paper towel in your hand that you can just kind of blow away.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
and you have to go
they're so annoying.
You might as well just grab 4 pieces and tear off.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway.
We went on a tangent.
Yes, we did. The toilet tissue is fine.
Yeah.
We haven't had any issues with that. They have a brand here similar to Charmin, so that's what we go with.
Yeah. And we can flush toilet paper where we live.
Yes.
Just know you can't flush toilet paper everywhere in the country, but there are places that you can flush it just fine.
And you can find Ziploc storage bags here. Pretty much you can find things that you need.
Yeah.
Some of them may be name brands, some of them may not be.
Yeah.
So it just depends on your preference.
Right, and how picky you are, because like aluminum foil, right? They sell Reynolds aluminum foil here, and it's not crazy expensive.
No.
But there's also like a more generic brand. I don't know where they make it at. They may make it in Ecuador, I don't know. But it's actually really good. It's not the Dollar Tree brand or whatever aluminum foil that just tears. It's all super thin and tears all the.
No, it's actually
this was
pretty
actually
good.
pretty good. Like we prefer buying it actually.
Right. Now let's talk about personal hygiene products, mouthwash, toothpaste, soap. We buy the off-brand mouthwash
So we're not paying for Listerine.
Listerine literally costs $10.
Yeah, it's I think the regular size bottle is like 7.5 or something like that. Like not the big Listerine bottle, like the middle.
Well, the one I got was $10.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You did
So
at that time.
that's all I can go by. But the off-brand mouthwash isn't so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, granted,
Couple bucks.
I've had some terrible mouthwash. This is not by far not terrible.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Another thing, I'm just rinsing my mouth out and spitting it out anyway, so it's going down the drain. Soap, there are certain soaps here that does not agree with me.
Yeah.
Now, they do have Dove. I have not seen Dial.
There may be somewhere, we just haven't really
Yeah,
seen.
but I know they have Dove. I think they may have Caress. I'm not sure, but Dove for sure.
Yeah.
And it is about the same price you would pay in the States.
Yeah, I kind of just go with the local brands, just so it says Jabon, Jabon.
Yeah.
They have a ton of different scents and whatnot. I don't care. It's just soap to me.
Well,
It agrees with me.
It agrees with him, but not with me. Now, when we talk about hair care, as far as shampoo, conditioner, you may want to bring your own.
Yeah.
I haven't found a place here yet that have hair products for my type of hair.
Right.
So
You may find the perfect shampoo for yourself here, but it's just that for her, it's a little more difficult.
and I just brought my products from the States.
So something I mentioned earlier was the meat being different. Some is different, some is comparable to the U.S.
The chicken is smaller. It is not the size of the chicken that you would find in the States. They
Right.
don't have all those hormones, antibiotics, and stuff
And it
in the
tastes
chicken.
better.
It literally tastes
Yeah.
better. The wing is a wing, like what you used to get, a small wing, not this big old bat wing
Chicken of the cave, yeah.
that you would get in the States. And I haven't really bought any chicken breast. I'm not much of a white meat type of person,
But it
unless
does
I'm
taste-
having chicken salad.
Yeah, but it does taste better. Like even like a chicken breast does taste better.
Yeah.
So my point was though, if you buy a full chicken here, whether you get it at the Mercado or the supermarket, they're a little bit smaller and they taste better. So that's one thing that I can say that is different from the U.S. The U.S. has a lot of things that go into chicken feed and whatnot that changes the chicken. All right. Here they're a bit more natural. I'm not saying they're perfectly natural, but they're a bit more natural and they do taste a lot better. The eggs are also different. The yolk is like a dark orange instead of a like bright yellow. So you can tell there is a difference. Also, real quick, something as simple as like crackers. All right. If you have particular types of crackers you eat in the States, and this is just one example, if that version is here, or if that particular brand is here, it's going to cost you more, obviously. But they may have a very comparable brand. There's
better.
Right. There's a couple brands of crackers that we buy that are just as good, if not better, than like
the Ritz,
Ritz or what
Townhouse Club, the Keebler Clubs.
So they're really good. So you just have to know that, and they're much less expensive.
And the premium.
Premium saltine crackers.
Yes.
Yeah.
The ones here are better.
Yeah.
Now we talked about snacks. We did a video on snacks and the difference. Now everything is not as tasty as the ones in the States.
Right.
But they're not bad.
They're not bad.
You just gotta know that this is what you get.
Right.
Now we also buy the rotisserie chicken here. Phenomenal.
That's
Absolutely
already
phenomenal.
when we don't feel like cooking.
Yeah. The ones that you would normally get at Costco or Sam's.
Yeah.
I think Sam's rotisserie was better than Costco.
I don't know.
In my point of view.
Costco's pretty good, but
But
Costco
I can
ones
tell
are
you-
really cheap too.
I can tell you right now, the one in Ecuador beats both of them.
Yes, it does. Well, all this goes into budgeting because if you're looking at Ecuador, or even any other country, especially in Central and South America, budget is a big part of your research, and you want to balance. You want to balance like how much you're willing to spend on your rent and eating, maybe eating out. We don't eat out a lot, so the bulk of our food budget goes to actually buying food and cooking it.
Yeah. Sorry about that because
we're outside. Hey, it's outside noise, y'all. It's natural out here. But anyway, most of our budget goes into food that we make for ourselves, and we enjoy that. We do make use of the local restaurants, and we like to support the local businesses, so we do eat, out occasionally. But you want to make sure that your budget and where you're going to live, that you can afford to eat, because that's just really important. You may be able to find a nice place to rent for $500, and you're not the type of person that likes to cook, so you eat out every day, and you're spending $1,000 a month just eating, and that balance just doesn't work unless your budget supports it.
Yeah.
Yeah, your budget supports it. Fine.
If that's an option you choose that you don't want to cook, or you don't like to cook, or you don't know how to cook.
Right.
Yeah, you want to budget that into your costs.
Right.
When you decide to relocate. So if you're going to make that that choice to eat at a North American restaurant, just know that you can be spending anywhere between let's just say $7 to $12, and that could be dinner, that could be lunch. It just depends on your preference. Yeah. Now, if you go to some of the Ecuadorian restaurants, you more than likely can spend anywhere from $3 to $7. Yeah. So
for a comparable meal.
Meal. But all the restaurants we've been to are very good. It's like he said, we do a lot of cooking. We love to cook because we love to eat. And
I don't even know if it's so much that we love to cook. We just don't feel like going anywhere sometimes, and we just rather cook. And we also know when you cook your own food, you know what's in it. You know where it came from. You know what kitchen it was made in.
Exactly.
But one quick point: if you have certain dietary concerns, that is a very important part of your research. So just know that if you come here, you can definitely eat lunch for $3.50. But if you can't eat rice, that might be a problem.
But there are some vegetarian options here, and I think there are some vegan options here as well. Yeah. So don't be discouraged if that is your dietary restriction. Yeah. Like you're a vegetarian or you're vegan. You do have those options.
Yeah. It just becomes more limited if you say, hey, my lunch budget is $5. Well, you're going to be a little more limited in your search for food if you have certain dietary concerns, just depending on what they are. If you can pretty much eat everything, don't worry about it.
He's one of those people who can eat anything.
Yeah.
Now know that each province or area of Ecuador varies in price. If you're going to live on the coast, just expect that cost can be higher.
A little higher.
Now, I can't say exactly because you can negotiate what you want, where you want to live and how much you want to spend. So let's just give a approximate range. Let's just say from $300 to $1,500. Yeah. Just depends on what your preference is, what amenities you're looking for, how big the place you want, how many rooms, how many bathrooms, all of that.
How big a town?
That too.
Yeah.
All of that plays a part in how much you're going to pay for rent.
Right. And how close you are to medical facilities. And if you have medical needs, are there doctors in that area? If you have kids, are there schools? You want an American English language school.
Right.
There's so many things that go into it.
So many variables.
Yeah, just make sure, talk to people in those areas and see if they have certain things that you need. Because everything else may fit except for one really important thing, and that's, that kind of just takes that area out of contention.
Yeah. So like if you decided you want to live in inner city, urban area, or rural area, the price of where you want to stay can go down.
Yeah. Drastically, honestly.
Yeah. But then all the other factors play into it: the weather, the climate, all of that.
You'll probably need a car.
Yeah.
If you're somewhere in a rural area, Just know that these things are all factors, and you're gonna have to consider them all. Next thing we want to talk about is as far as budgeting and moving to another country is healthcare.